Hi, Emmanuel Naweji here with T2S, and T2S stands for Transform to Succeed. In this video, what I'm gonna share with you is how you can use Python to generate diagrams that you can use for for making your infrastructure or architecture visual, depending on your requirement. So you can do that. And what I show you throughout this video is how you can install the diagrams, Python library, because you're gonna need that, how to write a 3-tier AWS architecture diagram using Python, how to customize it for your own project, and finally, how to use it as part of your documentation or portfolio. Let's begin with this one. First, you're gonna need to set up your environment. And these are the commands that you can use, that you need to use to set up your environment. You're gonna first of all, you're gonna have to create a directory, give it a name. In our case, for the sake of this video, we'll be using T2S app AWS diagram. Then you move into this project environment. You move into this environment. When you get there, you have to make sure that, first of all, Python is installed on your system. You can just go to Google, search for how to install Python on my system. If you're using Windows, you'll find good documentation on how to do it on Windows. You're using Mac or Apple computers, the same. If you're using a Linux operating system, you're gonna also find some documentation on how you can do that on your Linux operating system. After installing Python, then you need to create a virtual environment. And this is where you're gonna be to, so that you wanna have to isolate whatever you do from the rest of your environment. You install diagrams, and afterwards you will have to install Graphviz. After you do that, the next thing that you're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to look at the script. The entire script is written for you as a template, right? If you go to my repo on GitHub, you should be able to get the code, and I've also included the link to the code in the notes below this video. So let me take you to my command line. I'm using Visual Studio Code, and what I have done, I've already created this file. So it's created, and I've moved into this file. So once you do what I just told you, following those steps, you're gonna get something like this. And then this name here, creating that file, which will have the content of your code or script, it depends on your requirements or on the project requirements. So you have that, you get to see that, and just get the code from my GitHub account. And once you do that, you should be able to see the code, and your code should look like this. All right, so this is the code, and this code has kind of like, I would say, like two major parts here. So the first one consists of these 5 lines. And these 5 lines, that's exactly what I'm showing you here. So this section, this block, what it does is it allows you to download the required libraries, the required layers that you need. Because you're gonna need a diagram first, and from diagram you can download the clusters, and these are layers, and these layers will have like EC2, RDS, ELB, Route 53, WAF, depending on the requirements of your project. So you have that would be the first section here. We will be importing AWS resources like EC2, RDS, load balancers, and security layers like WAF. And these are what we will use to build our diagram. the next thing that we are going to do is, or to see, you're gonna see on the code here, is this line here. It's kind of like a long line. What this line does is, it's, let me see here. Let me show it to you, to the screen here, so that you can see it. So that's here. Probably you don't see the entire thing here. Let's go back to our Visual Studio Code here. So what you see here, is that we give our diagram a name, and then we set a direction. LR stands for, like left to right, for horizontal layout. So the output of the image also will be saved here. So if you look at, will be saved here. Oh, hold on, I think I deleted something here. So you see here the file name here. So that's the name we're gonna give to the file. It's gonna be generated right away once we run the script. And then what you see below here, these are like the edge layers. Okay, so we have the DNS, we have the WAF, we have LB, load balancer. So they're gonna be the left layers, the edge layer, the edge layer. So traffic will flow from DNS to WAF, okay, and then to the load balancer. So you see, so it's gonna go from DNS to WAF and then load balancer. So now what you see next here, these are the clusters that we're gonna have to create, like the containers. We have the web tier, we have the app tier, and then we have the data tier. So this is pretty much what the script will be doing. So here again, it's similar to that one here, right? So you have this to say that it's gonna go from the load balancer to the web servers. And the last part of our script shows that it connects the layers together to simulate real data flow in a production system. So that's what we're doing here. Now after you do everything and you make sure that your script is working okay, I mean, the syntax is okay, and you don't see any complaints here like underlining like red underlining words or lines, or so you see here it's clean, no complaints. There's nothing here. Our prompt doesn't say, terminal doesn't say, okay, there's an error. No. So then you should be pretty much set to go. And if you're really set, so what you do, you're just gonna run the command here. Run this command. You see here, this is the file, right? So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna run that file, and once you run the file, you should be able to generate your diagram. Okay, so we're gonna run that file, and here you go. Let me see here. Let me do entire screen. Okay, so here you go. So you have your script, you have your image here. See the image? There's the image. You know what I can do? I can close it and run the command again. But let's look at this for a moment. So this is what we wanted to create, right? Or the traffic coming to the application through DNS, then WAF for security, load balancer, which kind of like controls the traffic and balances the traffic among the different web application servers you may have. So it goes here to the web tier, the app tier, and then we have the data tier here. See? So if I close this one here, so I close it, and you ls here, when you ls there, what you see, you have now this image here. is the image that we just generated. So it's there. And let's run this command here. Now that I have my whole screen, you can see it, how it is generated. Just recall this command here. Then press enter. See? So it's been generated. This is how you do it. Very, very, very simple. This is how you do it. And you can change this by just reconfig or rewriting your script depending on the project that you are working on and also the requirements. Let's go back here. I'm gonna show you something else. So, you know, here, this is kind of like what I showed you. This is kind of like the edge layers, and this is how the traffic, you want the traffic to run. As I showed you, let's do that. Let's go here. Give me a moment here. I think I pressed the wrong thing here. So we're gonna do that. I explained that to you. The section creates the different tiers. Okay. So now when we go here, this is how you want your, this is the very last section which connects the layers together to simulate real data flow in a production system. And finally, the same thing that you have used, you can, the same script, you can adapt it and use it for Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or Alibaba, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, and so on. So there's actually so much that you can do with just the simple script. You can change it to meet the requirements of your project. You know what? I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. The notes will be, and the link to the code will be in the notes, and a little bit more about me also part of the notes. So thank you. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.